I'm Kat.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy. It is a podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and discuss the topics we wish we could teach at school. What are we drinking, Hayley?
We are drinking a special birthday cocktail. We have... I don't know whose birthday it is. Somebody somewhere, including mine. We have rum and Coke. So we have the Kraken Black Spiced Rum, 94 proof.
AA.
So it's alcohol and Coke.
It is alcohol.
And that's what it is.
I don't think we've had hard alcohol in like 1,000 years, much less rum. So
no,
like
this is gonna get
yeah. It hit my tongue and went directly to my frontal lobe. Like it didn't even touch my blood. It just like absorbed and through the top of my mouth, and now I'm wasted.
Yeah, I was like, I can feel it in my eyeballs, and I've had like half of it. So I think this is going to be an interesting night.
Also, Tommy has a mic today.
Yeah, Tommy, my boo, is in the studio with us. He was like, "Can I come to the studio with you guys since it's your birthday?" I was like, "Please come every time."
You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, he comes every 6 months, so this is
Hello.
a special. Hi.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, the big 2-3.
Remember when we used to record at our house and Tommy would fall asleep on the couch while we recorded every time?
Yeah, we're like, okay, this is a
Downstairs,
good,
yeah.
good sign.
I was
things are going well.
I mean, it felt really good down there.
It did.
And I was
the house had
playing-
good feng shui.
And I was playing Animal Crossing at the time, and that's a very relaxing game, okay?
is.
And I couldn't even really hear what you guys were talking about either.
You weren't listening, so of course you couldn't hear.
There you go.
It's funny how that works.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I can hear you. I just am not listening. Your animal character is probably dead on Animal Crossing.
No.
Oh, they don't.
They don't
die.
die.
They don't die.
They
They
don't.
just get mad.
Yeah, well, your villagers are probably mad.
Yeah.
Mine are too. I haven't been on in a long time, but my students are always, I ask them what they're going to do this weekend, and they're always like, oh, I'm going to play my game. What game? It's always like GTA, Fortnite, or COD. And then I'm like, well, I play Animal Crossing, and they just look at me. They're like, they don't respond.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're like, oh, no.
See, I'm so glad I didn't invest in it because I would have done the same thing. I would have played it for 6 weeks and then been like, on to the next quarantine thing.
I don't like it. I've had Stardew Valley since I got my Switch like 2 years ago, whenever they came out. Maybe 2 years. And I loved Stardew Valley, and I felt like Animal Crossing was going to be similar, and it just wasn't nearly as good. Stardew Valley is way better.
Is it more farmy?
Yeah, it's more farmy, but also like way better. And it's less about like designing something aesthetically pleasing and more about like playing the game, which I like.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
Strategy woman. Speaking of strategy, that's one of your strong suits. And we actually did an episode.
Wow, we're going to segue right into Patreon.
Yeah. We just recorded this really awesome.
Oh, man.
Like, it's a strengths finder test that we took with a real licensed life coach.
A real live life coach.
A real live one. And I was nervous because, as I said last time, I was worried about, everything being wrong in my life.
Oh yeah, I was really worried about what he would say to us, but he didn't really he didn't give us much pushback. He was very supportive.
Yeah, there was nothing
Yeah.
negative. So if you want to hear that, donate on Patreon.
Yeah, you can hear us talk about ourselves. It's fun.
Yeah, I
And
think
Edward
that's
is a
what
really cool guy.
He's very cool. I like to hear others talk about themselves for an hour
Yeah.
straight. So you might have some of the similar strengths or relate to things.
Yeah, he's also a podcaster, so I wanted to shout out his podcast before I forgot. His podcast is called Your Top 5, and he basically does what he did on our show, which is he has like creative leaders and business leaders come in and like they take the top 5 test where like it tells you your top 5 strengths, and then they kind of just talk about it. It's really cool. Parasaur Studios also produces that podcast. Woo. So woo.
Whoop, whoop.
So give it a listen. Well, it is Hayley's birthday, and we got her. Woo! And she's turning a big old 23, so she's old as fuck. And do you want to open your presents?
Yeah, I do. I really do. You said that it was like the best present ever, and that I had to open it on there.
The thing that Alec got you is the best present ever. My things are mediocre, but open
Okay.
Alex.
Well,
They're both in the same bag,
good
so
to know.
you don't
Okay,
know
let
which
me
is
grab
which. You'll know.
Oh no. Okay, here we go. Should I have the microphone this close?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good. It's getting some atmosphere.
I love this purple atmosphere.
What is that? What's that stuff called? The purple
Tissue paper.
Tissue paper. Yes, that's the word. Oh my god. Oh my god. I
Pyro
saw
pet?
this.
Really?
This is like, it's in my Amazon like
Really?
wish list.
Oh my god, I'm
yeah.
glad you didn't buy it. Yeah, it just looked like you.
Okay,
And it's
I
a
need
black
to pull it
cat.
out real quick. I need to just like
I
see
told
what it
her
looks
not
like.
to buy anything
I
on
didn't.
her Amazon wish list.
That was smart.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at it yet. I'm so excited. Oh, it's
Look
cute.
how cute it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's
really
a
cute.
candle. It's blocky. It's like a geometric black cat. It's made out of wax, and then on the inside, it's like what, like a metal like.
Yeah, a little
Skeleton.
skeleton. Oh my gosh,
So
I can't believe you
creepy.
picked it out for yourself and then I
can't
got it
believe
for you.
Nailed it.
I'm so smart.
Oh my god. Look
It's
at
called
you.
a pyro pet.
Yes.
Fire cat. That describes Safety because
Yeah.
he always acts like he's on fire, like constantly.
And the only way to put out the fire is by eating.
Yeah, there's a fire in his stomach and he needs wet food. What is this?
Oh my gosh. That's a great picture. Alec, that's the one you made? That is amazing. It's a picture of me and Hayley holding Safety like La Pieta, and then a photo of Safety in the background staring up at the sky behind us like he's dead. Like this is a dead animal tribute photo.
You're wearing a Jesus shirt too.
Yes, I'm wearing my Jesus shirt.
Oh my
We'll put
god.
a picture on Instagram. It's really good.
You put the
Wow.
picture on Instagram?
No, I will.
Oh, okay. But did you block me from seeing
No.
it? This is so funny.
Oh my gosh, I look so old.
Yeah, look how long your hair was.
Quarantine
Wow,
hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how did you think of this?
We look like siblings with our hair.
I just started photoshopping and let it go where it took me.
This is really
so
great.
Funny.
And you did you make the frame?
The frame is from the thrift store.
The frame
The
really
frame is
makes
perfect
it.
because
This
it
is a
looks so
perfect
80s,
frame.
just like the picture.
The frame is very thick. It's like
Yeah,
at
it's a
least
solid
1 inch
frame.
all
It's a thick
around.
boy.
Yeah.
Kat can attest. I spent over an hour in the thrift store.
Yeah, I called him because I was like, what happened? Where are you?
I love this so much. I can't believe this isn't a present for me. I can't believe you get this.
Yeah, can we get another copy?
Yeah.
Keep
look in there.
unwrapping. Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's not it.
Oh, okay. I was
That's
like,
something
you
else.
okay.
There's
not on the sweatshirt, I'm
wallet-sized
sorry.
photos in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
no. Oh my
Yes,
god.
thank you.
Wow.
I'm seeing this in my wallet right
This
now.
is phenomenal.
That's why I was so
you.
glad Tommy was going to be here today. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it works so well.
Yeah.
I know. I asked Tommy before we came here. I was like, "Did Alex show you what he made for Hayley?" And he said no. I was like, "Okay, I won't tell you. Like, this will be a good surprise."
I'm so
Yeah.
I'm shocked. This is so perfect. I love the look on Safty's face. What was he? What picture is this from?
I took it in my room.
Okay.
That's great.
And yeah, you guys
So
were
good.
cropped, so I added hair to both of you and I added a sleeve to you.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't even tell.
Talented, pure talent.
The talent. He can do things.
He
Okay,
can.
now I need to figure out what this is because I thought you got a shirt with that on it.
Now this is going to be a huge disappointment.
Okay, this is a thing and it's in a bag and it's fuzzy. It looks like, oh my God. Oh, no freaking way.
It's a kangaroo pouch
Oh.
for Safety.
Oh my gosh.
He's gonna love
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This is gonna stay at Tommy's house because whenever we're at his house, it's all he wants is to be held.
Yeah. It's a sweatshirt with a giant pouch on it for the cat.
That's amazing. This is perfect. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you guys nailed it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh
I'm glad you
no.
like it.
She got tears.
No,
She's crying. She's crying.
I'm crying. And it has little paw
I
prints
know.
down here.
And the little tassels that come down have pom-poms so you can play with him while he's in your pouch.
he's gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Maybe this will make him never want to leave
This
me,
is-
which is what
Aw,
I want
yeah.
also.
That's the idea.
This is as much a gift for Safety as it is for you.
All right.
Gosh.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
welcome.
Amazing.
All I got her was a bidet.
I'm like, wait.
Oh, another bidet.
Yeah.
Look in the bag.
I know. I'm like, well, my boyfriend got me a bidet, so I'm quitting.
He was trying to get a message across.
Yeah, dingleberries is the message. Not actually, though. I've been talking about getting a debate. Oh my God. My debate got me a bidet. And I'm really happy because I've been talking about it for 2 years now. And it was like, they're not that expensive, but I just never did it. And he looked it up, so it's all ready. So if you guys want to
Nice. Take it for a spin.
use my bidet.
It's very powerful.
Well, yeah, I'll be using your bathroom from now on, so get ready.
I'm ready. We're ready. I spent plenty of time designing and picking it out and making it look cute.
Yeah,
So
I'll be up there.
That's a wet ass debate.
A wet ass
debate.
debate.
Oh my God. What is wrong
It's
with
a
me?
lot.
Am I drunk?
Yeah, have you been
might be.
drinking?
What does this liquid you're feeding me?
Tastes like cough syrup.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess we should maybe move on. I don't have that many updates about the week, just that it was a week of teaching 11-year-olds on the computer. So it went about as you would think.
Yeah, my week was, it was fine, but today was kind of rough. It was just like no one wanted to be there. I only have 3 students. And their parents have to be heavily involved, and that's not always possible for parents to be heavily involved. It's just a shit show.
Yeah, that sounds like a shit show.
The energy like really died.
No, let's not talk about work.
Yeah.
Not that it's not great. Not that we don't love our jobs, but
we're
let's
here
not.
now.
Yeah, we're
and it's my
here.
birthday.
It is your birthday. I'm glad we're celebrating. I literally all day. I gave my kids a test today, so all I had to do was sit there and tell them to keep taking their tests every 30 seconds. And so all day I just thought about tonight, and I was so excited.
I know, I was so excited too. I got to spend the rest of my day finishing my notes, and I was like, oh gosh, this is perfect. I'm gonna get to go home. I had this cookie icing thing, sandwich waiting for me. I bought it for myself last night so I could have it today.
Yeah, other than that, do you have anything else before we get to our Patreon shout outs?
No, let's get to it.
All right. Well, my first Patreon shout out is Skosh Gustafson of Enumclaw, Washington. Thank you so much, Skosh. I had no idea. She's one of my mom's really good friends, and she actually became my aunt this last summer. She married into the family. Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is cool. That sounds like a movie.
I know.
Like Freaky Friday type deal.
My mom, it must be a movie for her. Scotia was one of her great friends, and then she introduced her to her brother-in-law, and now she has a friend in the family, which is fun.
Scotia's such a cool name too.
Yeah, her name is Stacia, but she's always gone by Skosh. Isn't that fun? Yeah.
Yes.
Very
Posh.
cool. But thank you so much, Skosh. I had no idea you even listened to this, so that means a lot to me. Thank you.
We have another Patreon too.
I do.
So one of our other supporters on Patreon is Jasmine Hall from Vancouver, Washington, and she's been super involved. From the get-go.
Yeah, we freaking love Jasmine. She messages us, she comments on our stuff, she rocks. She's an OG.
She's also a preschool teacher, which is as amazing as it is, she gets to struggle. So it's really cool to have teachers that listen to us too.
It's so fun.
So it's good. It's really good. It's welcome to the dark side. Now you support us on Patreon.
Yeah. Now you're giving your teacher money to teachers.
2 teachers.
And we know what it's like to live on teacher money, so we are thankful.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That's that.
Are we ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Okay, well, we breathalyzed.
That thing is on the fritz, I really think. But also, I kept saying
I think
debate,
it might be accurate. Yeah, after what just happened, I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Nonetheless, we weren't too far off from each other. I had a 0.137.
And I had a 0.140, so I get to go first.
All right, I'm ready to listen.
All right. So, first of all, my sources are Wikipedia, first and foremost.
Always Wikipedia.
It's always the first place you go to get an outline, you know?
You're like, am I interested in the story?
Yeah, exactly. Get your dates right, get your full names right, birthdays. Okay. Anyway, and biography.com, history.com, mental floss, lifescience.com, and smithsonianjourneys.org.
I'm so curious.
We got a .org in the building. Okay.
Hey, we love legitimate sources.
We do.
We also love Wikipedia, though.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Wikipedia, I think, is a legitimate source. It's constantly being updated. I think
by anyone,
but it does a fact check. And
Okay.
you can go, whatever. This is not a lesson on Wikipedia.
We should do that, though.
Okay. This lesson is on the curse of the Pharaoh, also known as the curse of King Tut's tomb.
No shit. My story has pharaohs in it, too.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
Okay. So it's a Pharaoh. Pharaoh. Oh, baby, let my people go. Yeah. I went to vacation Bible school a few times, so that's where that came from.
Okie dokie. I'm just here blinking my eyes like, what?
I went to Catholic preschool, and just because it was a really good preschool, and then I went to vacation Bible school there every summer just because I liked it. My family was not religious, but I went to a lot of religious camps as a kid.
I mean,
I'm
hey,
surprised I didn't get indoctrinated. Okay. Anyway, King Tut, or as his people knew him, King Tutankhamun.
So confidently, she says.
I should have practiced this before. He was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh, and he was the last of his family to rule during the end of the 18th dynasty, which, if you're stupid and don't know, was from 1342 to 1325.
Thank you for that.
Wait, okay, so that was probably BC because it went from 42 to 25.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe so. Okay,
probably.
If you're stupid, she says.
King Tut was not in the Middle Ages.
All right, so maybe Wikipedia isn't a legitimate source because it didn't have BC on there when I copy and pasted this.
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
His father was Pharaoh Akhenaten, and his mother was his father's sister, which
Ayo.
keep it in the fam. This was found out through DNA testing, and her mummy, she doesn't have a name. Her mummy is referred to as the younger lady.
Who's her daddy?
Her daddy is the same as
You just said her
Akhenaten's daddy.
mommy. I'm sorry. That did not go over.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of talk about daddies, so just wait.
Yeah, you're going to sow what you reap.
Yeah.
that the
mummies
phrase?
and daddies. Wait, can we call this episode Mummies and Daddies? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
That's it. Finally, Daddy made it into the title.
He made it into the title 2 weeks ago.
Wait, can we have a daddy reference every episode so
Oh
we can
my-
always
We
have that in
already
the title?
do.
You
We don't
guys
even have to
do.
say that we do that.
Okay, we gotta keep going. So a lot of people, like, if you're like, wait, wasn't Nefertiti King Tut's mom? No, she wasn't. A lot of people think that, but DNA analysis shows that is highly unlikely, and she does have like a very similar genetics to King Tut, so that's why like a lot of people think that. But really, there's just so much inbreeding, like that, and like cousins bringing cousins for generations, that like they were all related, but she wasn't his mom because she was like 8 at the time that he was born. So speaking of being 8, he took the throne at 8 or 9 years old. He only ruled for like 9 years until he died at 19. So like he spent most of his rule under the advisorship of other people.
Okay, so he did have someone to kind of watch over him and the people.
Yeah, and like I don't like, according to like all these sources, like he probably didn't make too many decisions. Like he was 8 years old when he came into rule, died at 19.
Can you imagine what you would do at 8 years old ruling? Like what would you rule?
He didn't.
I think I would be like, everyone gets as many Barbies as they wish.
Yeah, pretty much. So he was under the advisorship of an elder who they think is named A-Y. And A-A. His name was A-A-A. And he was probably a relative. They're not quite sure. Like I
Why
said,
do they know nothing? This is so frustrating.
because this was like 1300 BC.
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay. I can't read Hayley's sarcasm. If you haven't caught on to that, I really struggle. It's like how they say like smart people get sarcasm. Well, I'm dumb. Okay. So I don't get it.
You're not dumb. Maybe I just can't do sarcasm.
No, I think you just do it with such a deadpan face that
really good at
I'm
being
just
dumb.
We're both dumb. Okay. So shortly after King Tut took rule, he married his half sister at 8 years old. So that's fun. And so they had 2 daughters together, and both of them died. They think this is probably because, again, the inbreeding, it was not a healthy line. And then he was breeding with his sister and they were also super young. So it wasn't a great recipe. So
yeah, I'm not surprised on that one.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So they think that both of those daughters were stillborn. And then most of the things that King Tut did as a pharaoh was undoing the things his father did. So he had a controversial daddy who...
So many levels of controversy.
Yes.
With daddy.
With his daddy. So his daddy was controversh. He probably had daddy issues. Basically, King Tut just like undid everything that his father did. So his father had forbade worship of all gods. And like Egypt was polytheistic forever and believed in all these gods, and his father was like, nope, you have one god named Aten and he is the sun god and we only worship him. And so for this he is known as the heretic king. It seems like the reason why he did this was to limit power of the priesthood, because there were all these religious cults around other gods and the priesthoods had a lot of power. And so Akhenaten was like trying to get power for himself by taking it away from religious leaders. And in place, he put in, like, away from the temple-based economy, he put in one run by government administrators and the military. And so when King Tut came to power, he, or really his advisors, restored the god Amun, which is like their main hoe. And so
I wonder how they restore. What do they have to do?
They're just like, this is the main god now. You can have your other gods back. Like, we're polytheistic again. It's okay.
What a roller coaster.
Such a roller coaster.
What a time to be alive.
And then they also, just like to add insult to injury, they banned worship of Aten. So.
Oh my God. Imagine just being a civilian in this time and they're like, God, are they still talking about this? Like, I've decided
Stop
what
trying
I
to make Aten happen.
Aten's not going to happen.
He's just not. King Tut also restored power back to the priesthood, reversed all these changes. He also moved the capital back to Thebes and restored a bunch of old monuments that had been just like in disrepair. He also worked on restoring diplomatic relationships with the other kingdoms, because his dad was such a crazy guy that like he didn't want good relationships with anyone else. He just wanted to like rule and didn't care. It sounds familiar. So King Tut like tried to repair a lot of that damage, which was a good thing.
That's actually surprising to me, because like, you know, if he's his son, then it would make sense for his dad to pass down, you know, all this setup for all this power for him.
But like I said, he was mostly like influenced by his advisors, and the stuff that his dad did apparently like was not popular. Like, he was called the heretic king. People didn't like that he took away their gods and all this sacred stuff. So he was not a popular guy.
Sure.
Yeah. And then one more fun fact about him: in ancient Egypt, kings were venerated after their death. So like the king was thought of as a god after they died, and there'd be like cults of worship around the king. But King Tut was only like one of the only kings worshipped this way during his lifetime. So he was worshipped as a god while he was still alive.
Ooh.
Probably because he restored like the religion that people wanted. So he was considered very godly. And it is said that you could ask King Tut's deity form for forgiveness and relief from ailments associated with sin. So we don't know a ton about him. What we do know was a few of his accomplishments from like what we've been able to salvage through archaeology, and then what we've been able to glean from studying his mummy. And what they found out was King Tutankhamun was physically disabled. So he's the only pharaoh ever to be depicted seated in art while doing physical activities like archery. So in all the pictures of him, he's usually in a chair even when he's doing war activities. And that's probably because he couldn't walk or stand for long periods of time. That's the assumption. Also, they found out doing autopsies that his right foot was flat and his left foot was clubbed. So kind of like off to the side. And he walked with a cane. So like his sarcophagus, whatever he was buried in, it was like filled with all these canes. So like they think he walked with one.
Okay, I saw this cane. This is not really related, but I saw this cane at a thrift shop and it was beautiful. I was like, if I were 60 years older, I would get that cane.
I mean, you could get it and save it.
And it was like, yeah, if I had that mindset, like I could just get this now and save it, I would have so much stuff. Like that's how my grandma was a hoarder, and so it's in the bloodline. I'm trying
you gotta be careful. And so not only that, but scans of his mummy also showed he had mild scoliosis and a hard cleft palate. He also had large front incisors and an overbite, which is characteristic of his royal line, along with other disabilities because incest. And so also, like, to explain his early death, it's speculated that he probably had other disabilities for a lot of reasons. So some conditions that it is thought he may have suffered from, and I briefly looked all these up, so like I'm going to try to explain each of these conditions, but I'm only going to use a few words, so don't get mad at me if I don't like fully explain a condition. But one of them is gynecomastia, which is caused by like, it's like basically just high estrogen levels in men. And it can cause like feminine traits like swelling of the breasts. Marfan syndrome, which is a disorder that affects connective tissues and causes you to be tall and thin. Wilson.
Darn, I would hate that. Tall and thin. Gosh.
Wilson Turner X-linked intellectual disability syndrome, which causes things like intellectual disability and shortness and obesity. And here I was like, wait, so they think he has one thing which causes him to be tall and thin, and then another thing that causes him to be short and obese.
Sounds like he has a lot going on, but also that stuff doesn't just affect how you look physically.
Like it's not like a given, I don't think, that it causes either of these things, but I especially noticed like one is tall and one is short. So quick side note, some articles I read said he was tall, and then some articles I read said he was short.
Don't they have his skeleton?
They have his skeleton, and he was 5'6". So
okay,
especially,
but that's probably tall for
for back
Egypt
then. It was about average. So I'm like, I think people just
so
like
he
to
evened
speculate.
out, just like he evened out. If you're gonna be tall, if one thing's gonna make you tall and thin, and then another thing's gonna make
even.
you he broke even.
Maybe he had both.
Incest.
There you go. Some other things he could have had were adipocytogenital dystrophy, which causes you to like eat more. That's probably what Safdie has.
That's right. Maybe what I have.
Why is it called genital dystrophy?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's why I preface this by saying I barely looked these up.
That's such a weird thing, because you hear genital dystrophy and you're like, oh, that sounds bad. And it's like, he eats.
Yeah, I thought that about gynomasticy, and I was like, isn't that, or whatever.
Well, gyno means women, and it's about having high estrogen.
I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be about him having a vagina or something.
That's man boobs.
No, but there's another one on the list that is about him having a vagina. So we'll get there.
Yes.
Okay. Something else he may have had is called Klinefelter syndrome, which causes extra X chromosomes in males and causes infertility. So I'm like, he had like his daughters may have been stillborn, but they were still born, so I don't know how true that one is.
They were stillborn, but they were still born.
Oh no, that's awful. This is very quickly turning super problematic. Okay, so he also had may have had androgens insensitivity syndrome, which means the child is biologically male, but their genitals look either more like female genitals or a combination of male and female genitals. And then the last thing they thought he might have is aromatase excess syndrome, which again causes extra estrogen. There's not evidence of him having any of these things. And so his skeleton does show that he had a small waist and round hips. So I think that's where people are getting all this stuff that like maybe he had extra estrogen or extra X chromosomes.
That's a lot to assume.
It's a lot to assume. And I think that the way this is, it just became such a media sensation when his tomb was found that I think people just speculate wildly. I think it's probably pretty unlikely that he actually had any of these things, because from my understanding, they're all pretty rare. And also the fact that it is a product of a lot of incest. He did have physical deformities. Like he had a severe underbite. He had a hard cleft palate. He had several things. But I think people just kind of went crazy and they're like, oh, maybe he has this or this or this or this. Just take it with a grain of salt.
I wonder what they'll think I have.
I know.
Thousands
when your
and
tomb
thousands
is
of
dug
years
up.
from now. Yeah.
But he was like, it's indisputable that he did live a very short life. He died at 19. And he was riddled with health issues. So that's been documented. Genetic testing reveals that he and 3 other mummies did have malaria. And this is the oldest known genetic proof of the disease. And it's possible that malaria is what killed him. He also had a fresh fracture on his leg that didn't show any signs of healing, meaning it happened shortly before his death. So it's possible that the fracture, maybe he was in some kind of accident that killed him. We don't really know. The theories around his death believe that it was probably either due to malaria or a culmination of health problems, and the result maybe was a fall, like he fell and really harmed himself. So we don't know exactly how he died. There's a lot of rumors that he was murdered because he did have like a few injuries, but there's literally no proof of this.
You want to know what it said in my history books in 6th grade on how he died? I remember learning this. It said someone threw a rock at him and he hit him in his head and he died.
Okay,
that's what it said in my history book in 6th grade, and that's what I've been thinking until just now.
I literally became a history major because my goal someday is to get a doctorate in history and write like accurate textbooks because they're so fucked up like that. They're all propaganda. It's crazy.
I wonder what the propaganda behind. Hey, King Tut got hit in the head and died by a rock.
I think it's just like
it's an answer.
It was an answer, but like also it's like sensationalism. Like there's like all this sensationalism around like the Egyptian pharaohs and especially around King Tut that it just like becomes like something like a fun unit to teach your students where like you have like crazy stuff like that didn't actually happen.
Yeah, because we learned about the curse of King Tut's tomb. We learned about the white guys that excavated his tomb and then died.
And now we're here and I'm doing it too. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about. Sorry.
Sorry.
So because they do have his skeleton, there were facial reconstructions that were done.
I freaking love facial reconstructions.
And like these probably are not real, but like they're real, but I don't know how accurate they are. Here, this is exactly what he looks like without a doubt.
He's pretty.
Yeah.
The eyeliner is what does it for me.
I love that they made him completely hairless and then with a bunch of eyeliner.
Yeah, a bunch of eyeliner. You can definitely see his underbite. He still has a nice, he's got a nice little jawline here. Mm-hmm. His lips are full.
Yeah.
Pointed nose.
Yeah. And like facial reconstructions are total bullshit. Like they don't really.
You can't tell cartilage based off someone's bones.
No, they mean basically nothing.
Is that true though? Because they've caught a lot of criminals with facial reconstruction techniques.
What I just think back on is the thing about dinosaurs, and they're like, if we reconstructed dinosaurs, like this is what they could also look like.
Yeah, but we know a lot more about humans than
That's true.
dinos. Anyway.
We do know more about humans than dinosaurs, my bad. So they also did a body reconstruction.
This is great.
Okay, I want to preface this by saying we are in no way making fun of people with disabilities, but you guys, like this body reconstruction just looks absolutely insane.
What if it's a video and he goes 1, 2, 3.
Okay, like I'm scared to turn this around. Like it's not necessarily his body that makes it so ridiculous. It's the combination of his stance and what he's wearing and his facial expression and the fact that he looks like he's in outer space on the moon. Like this is just absolutely ludicrous.
I feel like someone just made a sim and this is what we're about to look at.
It does look like a sim.
I'd say just let them react.
Here we go.
Oh wow, he does
look like he's on the moon.
He looks like someone very poorly cosplaying Gandhi. That's what he looks like.
He does.
Yeah, he looks like he has a really big package though too. Like it looks kind of heavy with that little thing.
It also just kind of looks like just a moth. Like he's just got a big
moth?
Look, it just looks like he's got a big moth in
a
front.
moth is covering his private parts.
Yeah, it does.
You
He's
can
wearing
see
like
his
this
club foot.
weird like linen wrap around his groin.
He is a little womanly.
According to what I've seen, it
Childbearing
doesn't
hips.
seem like in Egypt they wore diapers. I don't think that's how they dressed.
I mean,
so I don't know.
Maybe Pharaoh's
I could be wrong. I'm
gets
sorry if
special
that
treatment.
sounds really ignorant, but I feel like I've never seen a picture of someone wearing like it's very odd.
I don't think I've seen anyone wearing diapers in any history books.
No, it does.
They got Teddy Roosevelt and this is Teddy Roosevelt in a diaper. This is just a reconstruction. We have pictures of him, yes, but this is just a photo reconstruction of Teddy Roosevelt.
This is better, wouldn't you agree?
They dig up Teddy Roosevelt and start doing facial reconstructions.
This is what he would look like if we had no idea what he looked like.
Yeah.
They should do that though. Actually, I'm sure they have where they like take someone who's or I guess you can't really get a skull if they're not dead, but someone who has died and then they take their skull and like have people practice facial reconstruction.
They do that. And they did it with King Tut because they had the British facial reconstruction people did this knowing they were reconstructing King Tut. Not that they knew what he looked like, but like they had something to go off of. And then they did like a blind side by side and had American facial reconstructors. I don't know what you call that, but they didn't know. Cosmetologists. They didn't know they were reconstructing King Tut. All they had was the scans of his skull, and they came out really similar. So maybe there is something to this.
Interesting. I thought they were going to come out different if I was just making a hypothesis.
No, they came out really similar, and like they went with the British one. So like the British one is the one you see a lot. I didn't even bother to look for the American one. My bad. And so, oopsie. King Tut's tomb was uncovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, who was an investigator. Oh, it was in an investigation funded by the Lord of Carnarvon, George Herbert. And before this guy named Theodore Davis was in charge of excavating the Valley of Kings. So the Valley of Kings is this like big expanse of desert and where a lot of the kings had their tombs. And so they were doing like archaeological digs on this for a while. And Theodore found several artifacts that bared King Tut's name, including doorknobs and door handles. And he thought that that's all that was left of the tomb. So he kind of gave up trying to find the tomb. And he's quoted saying the line, quote, "I fear the Valley of Tombs is exhausted." And then as soon as he left,
just you wait.
Yeah, as soon as he left the project, pretty much immediately they found this like massive treasure trove.
Oh my gosh, that's like us at the amusement park. As soon as we left the ride, they're like, "All right, let's roll."
It's exactly like that.
Except times 1,000.
Yeah.
Because it's
Okay.
literally Tutankhamun's golden freaking headdress.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us at the amusement park. I was like, yeah, it was really hot. You're right.
It was hot.
Sucked.
Also, I'm really excited for the day that, like, I mean, we talk about a lot of people doing a lot of things on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about this Theodore guy, is his name? I'm so excited for the day that I actually know, like, recognize a name. Like, that does happen,
Right?
but I'm really excited to know.
I don't think I
someone.
ever am, because when we tell stories, even my own stories, it just like immediately gets deleted from my brain as soon as we walk out of here.
I know. I wonder if people, like our listeners, actually learn things, because we research new things every single week, but it's like
we spent like a collective like 7 to 10 hours on our notes each week, and then I immediately forget everything.
Right. It's like high school all over again.
Yeah.
So if you're a listener, do you actually retain information, or are you just here for the laughs?
Probably the laughs. I mean, when
Hopefully.
I listen to podcasts, I don't think I retain much.
Me either.
Yeah. Anyway, so King Tut's tomb was buried by debris from other tombs and houses that had been built around it, but it wasn't gone. It was there. And after years of searching, Howard Carter discovered the tomb in November of 1922. And by February 1923, the antechamber had been cleared and they were ready to open the tomb. King Tutankhamun's tomb was found perfectly preserved, which sparked worldwide interest in ancient Egypt. So it just like basically there was this like huge resurgence of people interested in Egypt because of this massive discovery. And inside his tomb were 5,395 artifacts, including chariots, walking sticks, thrones, archery equipment, food, wine, sandals, linen underwear, and even a dagger made of meteorite.
Whoa, that's
crazy?
so cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Why don't you guys give me a dagger made of meteorite for my birthday?
Because you're not worth it.
Well,
you're not King Tut.
Look in the bag.
Can I trade this awesome picture for a meteorite dagger?
What if I got like really butthurt?
Well, that would be on you because dagger is way better.
Yeah. He's like, you're not King Tut, you're Queen Butt. And then he quits the podcast.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, tune in next week for Kat and I recording at home underneath the bedsheet with the cats meowing in the background because I think they're starving.
And our microphone is just our MacBooks.
Yeah, our MacBooks. And then Alex in the background because he signed a lease with us, just like making a shit ton of noise.
I move into the guest bedroom and now we actually do share a bidet.
I would share a bidet with you.
Aw, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so King Tut himself was, he was in a nesting doll of 3 separate golden coffins. And so in the actual history of Egypt, King Tut was a fairly insignificant ruler and also not very well known. But because he didn't do that much, he only ruled for 9 years. And like, it wasn't even really him. It was mostly his advisors that made all those decisions. But his really well-preserved tomb gave tons of insight to what royal life was like in ancient Egypt. It was like so well-preserved. They all of a sudden had all of these artifacts. And it took excavators an entire decade to catalog and empty the tomb.
What the fuck?
There was so much stuff in there. They cataloged the tomb and then it went to, all this stuff was given to, like rightfully so, the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities. And so they just held on to the stuff until 1968 when they authorized touring. So they would send stuff to the museums as like a loan and all around the world, like in every big museum, like from Tokyo to Paris to London, everywhere they were sending this stuff. And I actually got to go see his stuff when it went to Seattle in like 2013 or something.
When did he die?
1330 something, I think. BC?
1330 something BC. And people didn't lay eyes on it until 1968.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Yeah. It was preserved.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah.
I preserved an apple in 4th grade for a science experiment.
It's the same. But yeah, when I saw it, it was really cool. And I don't remember much because it was so crowded in there. And like everything was in like these big glass cases, climate controlled cases. But it was like, it looked old, obviously, but it didn't look like destroyed. Like it was perfectly preserved. It was really cool.
And it's painted too. So I didn't see King Tut's, but at the Cincinnati Museum, they had some mummies in there, like, and it's so funny because it's like ooh, King Tut, but also like just seeing a mummy and like its encasing and all that. I was like, this is a real. There's a body in there.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It is insane, and like I feel like I just have to mention like the problematic nature of taking these artifacts and sending them to Western countries to be on display. That's not great.
Yeah, they were preserved and put in these tombs for a reason. That is not this.
But like nevertheless, like it is interesting to see. And so on to the curse. So there's this idea that you should never disrupt a mummy or a pharaoh's tomb or you'll be cursed. And like that's a very old belief that like
I feel like
stems
it's not just
way
mummies.
Back. No, it's like you disrupt a grave, you can be cursed.
Don't fuck with the dead.
Don't fuck with the dead. And like this belief existed long before King Tut's tomb was found. But the belief like of the curse specifically tied to King Tut was allegedly initially spread by Howard Carter himself. So the man who dug up this tomb. And this was an attempt to keep people away from the burial site. So he's like, don't come over here, it's cursed.
He manifested it, didn't he?
He did. did.
Yes, I love it when that happens. Sometimes. Other times it's not so good.
Sometimes the manifestation is bad. And in this case, I guess it was because people died. So with all the attention of this mummy, it was a media sensation. And so on top of that, there's this idea of a curse. And people in the 20s were bored. And so this curse idea spread like wildfire. And those who worked on excavation were watched and written about constantly by the press. So rumors just went crazy. And maybe there is a curse. Following the opening of the tomb, there were a string of deaths of people associated with opening the tomb. And it started with Howard's pet canary. And the legend
brought his canary on this excavation.
His canary was in his house.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to be like, in the door, this massive rock fell on his pet bird that was there.
No, and it wasn't a rock. His canary was eaten by a king cobra.
What?
Yeah, in his house. And the king cobra is a symbol of the Egyptian monarchy. And it's said that the king strikes his enemies with a cobra.
Love that. So did he have a pet cobra, or is this just a rogue
cobra? He didn't have a pet cobra. The cobra, we don't know how it got in his house. There are rumors that it was like released into its house, or like it somehow just found his way in there. But it ate his canary. The next death was George Herbert, who funded this mission. And he died on April 5th, 1923, exactly 5 months after the discovery of the first step leading down to the tomb.
Exactly 5 months.
Exactly 5 months. And what happened was he was bitten by a mosquito on his face. And when he was shaving, he cut the mosquito bite and it got infected and caused him to die of blood poisoning. So
what?
Just a
that is
freak
so
accident.
Bizarre.
Yeah. And it said that the mosquito bite was in the same place as there was like a lesion on King Tut's cheek, which I think is where that rock myth comes from. And so they're like, oh, it was on the same place as his lesion on his face.
It has to be. That has to be true. I don't know what else it could be.
Okay, well, there was no autopsy ever done to confirm this or to deny it. So
that we know of.
And he found the first step?
He didn't.
Oh, okay.
He died 5 months after. He just funded the mission.
Okay. That's so cool that they found a step.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And so legend says that when he died, all the lights in his house also mysteriously went out. And so the next victim of the curse was Sir Bruce Ingram, who was Howard Carter's friend. And his house burned down twice.
Twice?
Yeah. He didn't die, but his house burned down. And the explanation behind this is Carter had given him a paperweight of a mummified hand. And the hand wore a bracelet inscribed with, quote, "Cursed be who moves this body. To him shall come fire, water, and pestilence." And when he rebuilt his house after the second fire, it was hit by a flood.
Good. They warned him. He is laughing in the face of mummies who curse people.
Yeah.
And he is getting what he deserves, honestly.
It's fucked up. Why would you have a human hand?
But also, I don't want anything that I deserve. So anything bad that I've done that has repercussions, please don't come after me.
We're exploiting it right now, a death for entertainment. So
one of Hayley's top strengths in the Strengths Finder was connection, which we found out means like you believe in the supernatural connection between everything. And I feel like that's a perfect example of you being like, don't fuck with that.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
It's not.
It's all connected.
I mean, if it's one of my top 5 strengths, I really can tap into that.
Yeah, just lean into it all the way. That's what Edward told you to do. In the next dozen years, 8 more people associated with the opening of the tomb would die. And a few of these people include George J. Gould, who was an American financier, and he visited the tomb in 1923 and immediately after fell sick and died of pneumonia.
Whoa, we sang a song in my elementary school. Wait, what was his name?
George J. Gould.
George J. Gould. Okay, it was Elliot Gould. Elliot Gould went to school on a solemn Saturday night. He went into the music room and sang with it all of his life and something like that. It's like a haunted like song. So same last name, different guy, I guess.
The Goulds, I think, are like a really like rich, well-known American family. They've been really wealthy for generations. Maybe that's where that comes from. I don't know. Anyway. Another person.
Sorry for that.
I liked it. Another person was Hugh Evelyn White, who was a British archaeologist, and he visited the tomb and helped excavate King Tut's tomb. And in 1924, after seeing so many of his fellow excavators die, he hung himself and allegedly wrote in his own blood, quote, "I have succumbed to a curse which forces me to disappear."
Okay, so he needs therapy.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
This is not a curse. This is just someone in need of help.
So I'm just wondering, he hung himself, but before that he had blood.
Before I think
he cut himself
so
too.
These are all rumors, but if you believe the rumor, he cut himself and wrote in his own blood.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true.
I'm saying it's not true.
Okay. Cool.
Mr.
Tommy, you
Know-it-all.
should always come and record with us. You're so fun.
I'm putting the mic down now.
Okay, so another person was Aaron Ember, and he was present during the opening of the tomb, and he died in a house fire. And he would have been okay. He got out of the house, but his wife encouraged him to go back in the house and save a manuscript that he had written. And guess what the name of the manuscript was?
The Curse
Burning
of
Alive.
King Tut's. Never mind.
Tommy was closer. It's called The Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Like the Necronomicon?
What?
There's never mind.
Probably yes.
Yeah. Well, also, there was this guy named Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, which, okay.
Archibald.
Yeah. Archibald.
That sounds like the beginning of a joke in a different language. Archibald. I didn't say orange.
In a different language?
Yeah, but then part of it is English.
Okay.
I don't know. A made up language in my
Wait,
mind.
was it Archibald? You didn't say orange?
Yeah. Or just drunk. It sounds
It's
like
in
a drunk language.
And he wasn't even present at the tomb, but he was a radiologist. Archibaldist. And he x-rayed King Tut, and the next day he got sick and died 3 days later. So.
You don't mess with mummies. How many movies do we have to watch before people stop
There is
messing?
a movie about this.
I know. I haven't seen it, but I know it exists.
I did these notes and I was like, okay, I'm going to get these notes done in time to watch the movie. And then I never did.
That never happens.
Also, it looked like a bad movie, so I'm glad I didn't watch it.
So many of these people didn't have anything to do with the tomb, though, that are dying. That weren't around when it opened. They were just like...
Exactly. So this all seems like evidence. But there's some party poopers like Tommy who say there's not actually a
You
curse.
don't have to have direct, like, that's just like, okay, some people brought COVID-19 to the U.S. Everyone else who gets it doesn't have a direct relation to the people who brought COVID-19 to the
Okay,
U.S.
this is a bad analogy.
Yes, that's about sickness, though.
It's not the same.
COVID-19 and King Tut's
Plague is
curse.
upon us.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So let's get into some evidence that there's not a curse. Sorry. I hate to do this, but I have
wet
to.
blanket.
I know. So boo. Okay. Especially, so a lot of people say there's not a curse. Okay. And
Some people.
some people who hate fun, and a lot of people point to the fact that Howard Carter, the man who actually found and opened the tomb, was unaffected by the curse. He died decades later of lymphoma at the age of 64. But maybe King Tut caused his lymphoma. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe so.
And also the truth is, according to party poopers, is that newspapers just wanted to sell newspapers, and saying there's a curse is the way to do it. And
But those things did happen, or they're rumors? They're rumors.
So people did die,
as people do.
It was only a handful. We'll get into it in a second, but I just kept reading about how it was all just a ruse to sell newspapers, and it reminded me of the Harvest Fest episode of Parks and Rec.
Yes,
where they what's her name? The reporter. Fuck. Oh no, I'm drunk.
For some reason, I think Margaret, but I don't think that's it.
People are screaming at their phones right now. But yeah, like she just wanted there to be a curse so bad.
I bring up a Parks and Rec in my episode too.
Oh
this
my
is
God,
weird.
It's almost like we spend all our time together. Okay.
Can I look it up just so you can have a reporter
please.
from...
The actress's name is Mo Collins, I think, but I don't remember.
Thanks for helping us.
I'm not coming back.
No, it's not
Shauna Maui.
No, it's not Shauna Maui
That's
tweet.
the other one.
It's the
yeah.
slutty one.
Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers.
No,
not
Joan
Rivers.
Calamezzo.
Joan
Yeah.
Wow, my brain really just filled that in. I knew it was Joan. Joan Rivers.
That would be
Final
way
answer.
better. Okay, Joan Calamezzo.
Yeah, Joan Calamezzo.
She's like my favorite character on that show, and I couldn't remember her name. Okay.
We need to come in with Joan Calamezzo energy to every single
Oh
Yeah.
my
episode.
God.
Yeah.
Don't we already though?
No.
Daddy. Okay.
That was a Freudian slip. A Calamezzo slip.
Okay.
A clip.
Okay. Let's get through this. We're almost done.
This is on you.
This is a group effort.
Okay.
So newspapers wanted to sell shit, and even the Sherlock Holmes creator, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, promoted the curse as being real. But he was also known for sensational writing. Haters argue that George Herbert was long sickly and ill before he died, and that he possibly didn't even die from blood poisoning, but from a mosquito-carried disease. Because, he got bit on his face. They're like, maybe he died of malaria, not blood poisoning. It was the 20s. We don't really have a way to know. And so it is also argued that the number of people who died after opening the tomb, that could only be expected by random chance. Only about 8 of the 58 people present at the opening of the tomb died within 2 years. And that's the same number as would be expected to die of random chance in that time period and part of the world.
Okay, so that's a little bit
pretty
damning.
strong evidence that...
But still,
chance.
the world works in mysterious ways.
Sometimes there is a curse. Just to keep going with the wet blanketness. It's also noted that people affiliated with the tomb lived on average 23 years after the tomb was opened. And this actually surpasses the average lifespan of the time for their demographic and social class by about...
There was no curse. There was a boon.
He
There was a
blessed
boon
some
for
and
opening the
cursed some.
tomb.
A boon.
Tomb boon.
Those who were
boon.
blessed were truly blessed, and those who were cursed were cursed.
Super dead.
Super dead. And so...
According to chance.
Maybe all chances are influenced by curses.
Maybe.
How about that?
Maybe there's just so many curses, and that's just why we die in the first place.
That darn
Otherwise,
Eve.
we'd live forever. That darn Eve. Okay. Another debunking theory that was tossed around briefly was the idea that the tomb possibly contained a deadly fungus, and that's why so many people died.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting, but it wasn't true. And so, high levels of ammonia, formaldehyde, and hydrogen sulfide actually were found in the air of the tomb, but it doesn't appear that anyone actually got ill from these. But in the end,
Hypothetically, that would be an interesting thing that could have happened.
the way her hand was on her hip and she sat up straight when she said that. What was that?
I'm itching my hip. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize my hand was on my
Also, I love the wishful thinking for terrible disease funguses and stuff.
But once again, it's up to you to decide if there's a curse. And again, do you want to be on the fun side or the probably true side?
We already know what side he's on.
I always want to be on the fun side, personally.
Did you say we already know what side he's on?
Yeah. I know that it's a lot more fun to think about things that could be, but also, okay, never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
I just want to say it's nice not taking all the heat for once. This is Alec. If you can't tell Tommy and I apart, Tommy's taking the heat tonight.
Yeah, you and I are up here.
Yeah,
They're down here.
they are.
You guys haven't gotten to that spiritual level.
No.
of life yet.
We're the guys
They're
that you
the
guys...
sober bros at the frat party.
Yeah, you guys are talking about the curse, and we're like, actually...
As an intellectual male.
Have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Oh, God. No,
According-
stop asking me.
According to an episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not, I saw in 2004.
I was just going to ask what year it was. So.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
Okay, that was my lesson. Bye.
Nice.
Yeah. That's it.
Hold on. Can you throw it to the sponsors?
Oh, yeah. So bye. And now, hello. It's time to hear from our sponsor.
Do we need a better throw out?
Yeah. Give me an alt.
I can say it if you want.
Do it.
All right. And now let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Wow, that was good. Hayley, do you want a birthday cupcake or a delicious protein bar?
Do I have to choose?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be good. I'm going into my 23rd year. I'm going to choose... I can't do it. The cupcake. I need deliciousness.
No! That's not the answer I was going for, but I mean, I understand. Everyone wants a cupcake, but the next best thing from a cupcake is a delicious Build Bar.
Wait, how?
Because they taste so good. It tastes like dessert. And it has 16 grams of protein and like a butt ton of collagen. So like you're going to look good after you eat it.
Right. Collagen is the thing that like makes your hair grow and your nails grow long.
Yeah. It makes everything
strong.
grow.
Okay.
Like it makes name something that it doesn't make grow.
I don't know, but I'm ready for it. 23 years old. I want my hair to grow, nails to grow, personality to grow.
It does help your personality.
My personality.
Studies have shown.
Okay, that's good to know.
I think you need to eat a few.
Yes, let's have several. Let's have several Build Bars.
Yes.
Because also I want my muscles to grow. And it has, you said 16 grams of protein?
A lot of protein.
That's
so your
so many
muscles
grams.
will grow. And if you want your hair, nails, skin, muscles,
Your
personality
skin
to grow, head to buildbar.com. That is BYLD bar.com and use promo code NIGHTCLASSY for 10% off your order.
Do it now. Look like me.
You know you want to.
Okay, so you know what I actually just realized right before we started recording was that I feel like we've already started virtual teaching when we started this podcast.
That's true.
I mean, it's
the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, just a lot harder and very different.
Yeah. Just much more fun.
Just a lot more fun. There's alcohol involved.
Yeah.
And it's totally different. But anyway. Welcome to Miss Madden's class. So, you know how I said that I was going to bring up Parks and Rec in my episode? So it starts with that. So you know that episode in Parks and Rec where it's Ron's birthday and he's very private and doesn't want anyone to know his birthday?
Yeah, and she throws him like a fake surprise party and then he watches a Western movie and drinks scotch.
Yeah, and it ends up being perfect.
Yeah.
So part of that episode, Ron, in his pursuit to not have his birthday celebrated, he's like, birthdays are fake and Hallmark just invented them so they could profit on their cards.
Are you doing the history of birthdays?
You know it.
Because I almost did.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you do any research?
Alex suggested I do the history of birthdays and I was like,
Dude, I've been waiting. Yeah, that's how I was feeling before I finished my notes today. I was like, whoa, this is going to be a doozy. Like, I really wanted my birthday one to be good. But it's actually, I think it'll be good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've been waiting for us to do the same topic.
I feel like you're better than me at doing like the like collection of facts, you know?
I don't know how though, but thanks.
You're better at the quippy jokes and I feel like that's what makes them.
Okay.
Great.
Well, hopefully it is good.
Okay.
I've been waiting for us to do the same one. So we were just that close.
So
Statistically, we're due. And I'm so excited.
Statistically, we're not due. We have literally every topic under the sun to choose from. Us choosing the same
Infinite
topic is like very slim.
But we came this close this time.
As a math teacher, it's almost statistically impossible.
And birthday statistic. And if you're in a room with 23 people, what are the odds that you share the same birthday with someone?
You've told me this fact before. I don't fucking know.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Wow.
Out of a room of 23 people, it goes, 75 people, 99.9% chance you have the same birthday as someone.
It's pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy.
So are there birthdays that are more common than others?
There are actually. And it's so crazy because I have a personal connection to this. So in the US, more people are born on October 5th than any other day out of the year. And that's my dad's birthday.
Yeah, I feel like October birthdays are really common.
Yeah. Because February, people are making love.
Yes, they are.
Making babies. The least common birthday is May 22nd, which is my mom's birthday.
Weird.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. And I'm like, you know what? This makes sense because Because polar opposites.
Yeah, same with my parents. My mom texted, or she called me after you did your astrology episode. Did I tell you this?
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
I'll tell everyone else. She was like, yeah, Hayley shared like the worst astrological match, which is Cancer and Aquarius, and she's like, that was me and your dad. It checks out.
Yeah.
Yep. That was not a good match, as we found out.
They're divorced.
They're divorced.
Right. Yeah. Divorced kids be like,
sometimes
divorce.
Yeah. Sometimes divorce is a good thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. It can be great. My dad's parents are divorced, and I remember him saying like he was so relieved when his parents said they were getting divorced.
I'd way rather have divorced parents who end up happy in other relationships than like parents that fight all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So good for our parents.
I only added that because it sounded like your parents had a really toxic relationship to people outside of.
Yeah. No, there was a brief period of toxicity.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, if people thought your parents were still together and you're like, yeah, my mom called in and said, like, yeah, that was totally on the nose. You'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're happily divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were just talking about how your dad is driving to Florida to buy a new house. And your mom's calling in about how incompatible they are.
Happily divorced, and both are happily remarried. So it all works out.
Yay, love that for them. But anyways, talking about divorce, let's talk about birthdays. Okay, so it's not true. Hallmark did not invent birthday celebrations, like Ron said. They also did not, you know how people say they just invented like Valentine's Day to make money off of that holiday?
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true. They like hardcore deny it because it's not true.
Yeah.
But the party starts back in Egypt. It started.
Whoa. It's a curse. Birthdays are a curse.
Birthday curse.
Actually, for some people they are, and we will get to that.
Okay. The older you get,
the more time you've lived, which means you're gonna die sooner.
Yep. That's math. How that works.
Life. Okay. The first birthday celebration, so we can actually track back with evidence to, is actually a pharaoh's coronation day. So when they were crowned, they were considered gods. And like in your lesson said, after they died, they would celebrate their coronation day as their birthday, being birthed into being a king and a god.
Cool.
I did something I have not done a lot in my life for this. I read the Bible for this lesson.
Okay.
And the earliest known mention of birthdays is actually in it.
Did you read a physical copy of the Bible?
Do you think I read a physical copy of the Bible?
Okay, I'm just making sure.
You know what? I do have a physical copy of the Bible.
Me too.
I use it. It like props up my jewelry box because it has those really pretty like silver pages.
Yeah.
And it's aesthetically
Bibles
pleasing.
are gorgeous. I have a really cool old, I think it's called a missal. It's like a Catholic book of prayer from my grandpa, and like in it is all like he used to like sketch stuff. Like in Catholic church they give you these little like cards and they have saints on them, and he used to like sketch pictures on the back while he was sitting in church, and he'd stick them in his missal, and I have that like full of all his old like church doodles. It's really cool.
Please keep that forever.
Yeah, I will
pass it down. That's amazing. No, mine did not have drawings on it. It was from a webpage. Genesis 40:20 is where it's from. And there were a ton of translations of the Bible, and I got to see like all the translations because there are a lot of different, I don't know, churches and things. There were a lot of things that said things. And basically what Genesis 40:20 said was, it said, quote, not quote, this is me paraphrasing, but on the third day was the Pharaoh's birthday, and everyone got together and ate food and they got lit.
That sounds fun.
So they were birthdays. Yeah. And they celebrated. I don't really know what the third day was from, so it doesn't matter, I think.
It may be in the week.
Yeah, maybe it was Tuesday. The club's going up
on a Tuesday.
It's a hymn. It's a hymn. Gender reveal.
No.
Oh, wait, HY.
Sarcasm. It's hard. It's hard to decipher.
I love acting stupid, and I also love acting crazy. It's so fun.
It's a Herm.
Herman the Worm. That's a song I sing in my preschool classroom. Anyway, okay, so birthdays are born, and we get our candles from the Greeks. They did have cakes. They were offered to Greek gods and goddesses. They would bring these cakes in the shape of like the moon, specifically with candles to make it glow. So they'd bring that to the temple of Artemis. Do you know this? Artemis. Yikes. And that would be the goddess of the hunt. And they did the moon since that was like her symbol.
That's cool.
My symbol would be my smart TV remote, probably. Or a glass of wine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fun fact about wine and the Greeks. Back in ancient Greece, they didn't have wine like we have now. They had like basically it was like this really thick sugary syrup that was like had a super high alcohol content. It was like literally syrup, and they'd mix it with water, and like I guess it tasted like absolute shit.
But it was worth it to get drunk.
Yes, they'd still get lit. But like it was like not good. Like wine is good now. Like it was nasty.
Yeah.
According
Tommy's
to my ancient Greek teacher.
He's going to make you make that for Patreon and drink it.
No. We never said we would, so he can't hold us accountable.
I don't think we can make this. It's from, also I said ancient Greek. I think it was ancient Rome, but probably Greece too.
A long time ago.
Long time.
It happened.
Yeah, it was so long
time
ago.
and a place.
Probably the grapes didn't have time to age, and that's why.
They were just impatient.
That's why. Yeah.
They were ready to drink. And they are, I mean, I'm sure there were prisons, but no toilets. So you can't make prison wine.
There actually were
They
toilets
did.
in ancient Rome. It's what they're known for. One of the
right.
things.
Their water system. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
they had pipes.
Okay. This lesson is off to a strong start. I'm being sorry. That was sarcasm. That was my sarcasm.
My bad. It's me who's stupid.
Modern day toilets. They did not have.
They weren't porcelain.
They weren't porcelain. Yeah. They didn't have
a bidet.
My bidet from Amazon. I'm guessing. I don't know. Okay. Well. Anyway, candles and cakes in ancient Greece. They also believe that the smoke from candles, when you blow them out, carry messages to the gods.
Wishes.
So yeah, that's where we get our wishes from. And I haven't made any wishes, but I know what I want to wish. And is it bad luck? Or I think maybe it's not bad luck, but it just doesn't get to the gods if you just tell people. But I'm going to put it out there. So hopefully it manifests. Okay. So this year, like one very basic thing that I'm wishing for is good music. Like I really want some new, fresh music that's inspiring.
I feel like if anything, 2020 has given us good music.
I need more, though. I'm
more.
like, yeah, in the year of my 23rd, that made no sense. But in my 23rd year of life, I really want some good music.
In the year of my 23rd.
In grade 23. Yes.
The gods are like, we gave you the Toxic WAP mashup, and this is what you say on the air.
We gave you Cardigan.
It was just the
We
preface.
gave you Girls in the Hood. We gave you WAP.
I
And
want
you're
more.
gonna act like
I
this.
want more. I'm like an addict. I need more. Yeah, but seriously though, if you haven't listened to it, the WAP Toxic mashup, it's not on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's a masterpiece.
And
so
Tommy
good.
found it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he saw it on like Instagram for gays or something like that.
It was Best of Grindr Instagram.
Nice.
It's very funny.
Yes, defend your sexuality now, please. Yeah.
I'm not defending my sexuality. I'm very comfortable in it, and the
Define
homosexual community is very funny.
But it was on the Best of Grindr's Instagram page, and I heard it. Like we weren't even looking at the same thing, you know. You're just like mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, and I was like on the other side of the couch. I was like, "What's that?
Yeah.
What's that?"
It's good. It piques your interest.
It does. I try not to be on my phone while I drive, but I tried to pull it up the other day and, you know, at a red light, but then it wouldn't like connect to my Bluetooth. So I felt like I was still trying to figure out. And I was like getting mad because I couldn't listen to it. I was like, I need to scratch this itch.
I wonder if, because it's like a DJ who makes it, I wonder if they have a SoundCloud. Maybe
Probably.
it's on there.
Yeah, probably. That'd be a good solution. But yeah, check it out. segue into Romans, Roman birthdays. So before this, birthdays were really just celebrated for these pharaohs who had passed on, or if you're King Tut, then you're celebrated while you were still living.
Because you're special.
But yeah, because you're special. And so things changed in ancient Rome. They decided that they wanted to celebrate birthdays for all the people, and by all the people, I mean men only, no girls allowed.
Isn't that all the people though? Men?
Yeah, all the valid people,
Yeah.
valid people.
Girls aren't people.
Girls aren't people. They're objects. They're kitchen
props
appliances
for the men who are people.
Right. And so Romans would gather, and by Romans I mean men, would gather for family and friends, and they also would create public holidays for famous people's birthdays. So people are like really jamming on birthdays. They're like,
People
okay,
love birthdays.
we can go with this. The first found documented birthday invitation was written on slabs by a Roman commander's wife, Claudia Severa, in 100 AD.
Claudia Severa is my drag name.
Yeah. You know what? That's what we need to name your alter ego. That's what it
That's
is.
it,
Whatever
yeah.
it was and we forgot it. Claudia Severa.
That's
yeah.
totally your alter ego.
Ice cold. Claudia Severa.
And Claudia is a German name.
It's so fitting.
Mhm.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So this must be why I did this lesson, because we needed to figure out your drag / alter ego name. So do you want to know what the translation of this invitation said?
I do.
Claudia Severa to her Lepidina greetings and Lepidina is a name. It's a proper noun. And I also don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Lepidina. Lepidina.
I really like it.
Lepidina.
You could call her Dina.
Dina. Claudia Severa to her Dina. Greetings. On the third day before the Ides of September, sister, for the day of the celebration of my birthday.
Why are you English?
Because it's translated into English.
Okay.
So get fucked.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it in my normal voice, or do you want me to distinguish between a quote?
I want you to read it in a Greek voice, actually.
I don't.
Do that.
I can't. I don't want to do that.
I know. I literally don't even know what
it
sounds like.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. And I feel bad trying. But also there's this website I stumbled upon that has probably 100 or more ways to say happy birthday. And I thought about trying to say. I was I don't know if this is going to be
stumble through.
problematic or not. That could be a little fun activity if we have extra time, maybe. But I don't know if that is an issue. But anyway.
Zum Geburtstag viel Glück. That's happy birthday in German. It
Prove
means
it.
Good luck for your birthday.
Aw, good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck on your
Yeah.
birthday. Not any other days, so.
Yeah.
Zoom gebutz.
Zoom gebutz. I'm going to zoom your gebutz. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm ready.
I'm going to
Are we
stop
ready?
interrupting.
No, please interrupt as much. I think it's very fun. I love to hear what's going on in your mind. So, to pick up where I left off, for the day of celebration of my birthday, I give you a warm invitation to make sure that you come to us to make the day more enjoyable for me by your arrival. Give my greetings to your cerealists. Cereales? My alias and my little son send their greetings. I shall accept you, sister. Farewell, sister, my dearest soul, as I hope to prosper and hail.
Imagine talking to your friend like that.
Can we only talk to each other like that for the rest of time?
Yes.
Henceforth, we shall talk proper.
Thank you, my sister. Please take these words as a piece of my soul.
Prosperity in abundance.
Yes.
To you.
Ma'am.
Forever.
Amen.
Peace be with you. Nice. Okay. Speaking of peace be with you, Christians were not for birthdays at first. They hated them, actually.
Wow. Shock.
Yeah. It was unholy for hundreds of years. They were like, fuck that shit. Like it's pagan. They're not about it because, its origins were in celebrating Roman and Greek gods rather than, Jesus Bible God.
But we can celebrate Jesus's birthday.
Exactly. And I'll tell you how that happened. So around the 4th century, they were like, You know what? I think a birthday celebration would really look good on Jesus.
They're just so bored.
They're like, we just need to stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
So birthdays would look good on Jesus. We are going to start celebrating Christmas. We don't really know when he was born, but we could just pick a day and just make it.
Wintertime sucks. Let's break it up a little bit.
Yes. Please give me something for my seasonal
give me
affective
something
disorder.
To look forward to.
Because those special lamps were not invented then, as far as I know.
And they cure depression.
I mean, I don't know, but maybe for some people they
might
do.
help.
They might help.
In combination with therapy and medicine.
I love therapy so much. So yeah, they were like, we're going to start celebrating Christmas. But to do this, they also wanted to recruit some Romans who were celebrating a holiday called Saturnalia. Also, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Saturnalia. Do you know, Tommy?
I'm still blown away that Christmas was invented 300 years after Jesus died.
Yeah, they didn't know.
That's older than America.
The Bible the New Testament was written like 300 years after Jesus died. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
It's just crazy.
It's almost as if things were just
as if people just did what they wanted and said what they wanted to say. Wow.
Right. So it's not to say that Jesus's birthday was not important to a lot of people, but they just don't really know when it was. Okay, so in order to pick the day and to recruit some Romans who are celebrating, their own religion, Saturnalia is one of their holiday celebrations that ran from December 17th to December 25th. They decided to make Christmas on the last day of this celebration. Now, the thing about this celebration is that it's disgusting. And that's my personal opinion.
Are they killing a lot of animals?
They're doing a lot of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, the ancient, and this is a quote from one of my sources that I will cite at the end of this, but the ancient Greek writer, poet, and historian Lucian, in his dialogue entitled Saturnalia, describes the festival's observance in his time. In addition to human sacrifice, he mentions these customs: widespread intoxication, going house to house from singing or while singing naked, caroling anyone, rape and other sexual license, and consuming human-shaped biscuits. So basically, they were just going crazy. They were doing
gingerbread man.
Yeah.
Sounds like Midsummer
oh my God,
a
I
little
didn't
bit.
think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so another thing is that when this festival began, Roman authorities chose an enemy of Roman people to represent the Lord of Misrule. And so they have this Lord of Misrule. Each Roman community pick this victim who they force feed, they force feed food and other physical pleasures throughout the week. And then when the festival concludes on the 25th, the Roman authorities believe they were destroying these dark and evil forces by murdering this innocent man or woman who's just like a symbol of misrule and chaos and all the bad things.
A scapegoat.
A scapegoat.
Yeah.
El scapegato.
Yes.
Escape cat.
Wow, that sounds bad.
Yeah, so the Christians were like, let me help you. Can I help you? Let me help you. And there's nothing actually Christian about Saturnalia, and I don't mean to paint the Romans as complete insane maniacs with this holiday. This is just
I think everyone back then was an insane maniac.
Yeah, it was just crazy, honestly.
It's just the way it was.
That's just how it continues, just we get slightly better.
Yeah, it just looks different. Yeah. So the Christians were like, okay, we're going to inject our religion into this and try and change your minds about birthdays. And so
they're like, we like everything about this except for the part the raping and the killing. The
raping, the killing, the not subscribing to Christianity.
Yeah, we could just edit out a little bit and then it's great. We love it.
Yeah,
just have a few notes. Yeah.
So the day they celebrated Jesus's birthday was decidedly to be December 25th, the last day of Saturnalia. So as soon as they're all done raping and pillaging the villages, they can celebrate Jesus's birthday. And this quote also, this continued for a while. And because of its, and quote from one of my sources, because it's known pagan origin, Christmas was banned by the Puritans and its observance was illegal in Massachusetts between 1659 and 1681.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sucks.
So Jesus' birthday, pretty freaking famous. Has some interesting roots. I had no idea. I thought it was just about a baby and a star and
A star?
A star. Yeah, the Northern Star.
I thought you were gonna say barn, and then you said
Starnheart.
and I was like,
Katia
what's
Starnheart.
It's a star.
It's crazy that Christmas even started out controversial.
Yeah, I mean, we still see a lot of those things today, like the gingerbread, the caroling,
Lighting a tree on fire.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that I saw about like the origins of Christmas and the traditions. I was like, this could be a whole other lesson.
Just save it till Christmas. We'll do it again.
Well, on the lighter note, I like birthday cakes.
Me too.
And it actually goes back to your roots, Kat. The traditional birthday cake are credited to German bakers.
Aw.
So it wasn't until the actual Industrial Revolution that cakes actually became sweet across the board. But Germany was like the first place that had traditional birthday cakes and started making them and pastries and stuff for birthdays. And I just like hypothesized before, like, you know, that Roman party that the first invitation to a birthday party. I just imagine those cakes were the slabs, just
the rocks.
Yeah, bring your invitation because
that's all you
that's
get.
your meal. Yeah. And then we also all know the birthday song, right?
Remind me how it goes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
That's right.
That one.
That sounds correct.
Yes. And then there's also the one that's like, happy birthday to you.
I don't know that one.
Happy birthday to you. Does it ring a bell yet?
Mm-mm.
Happy birthday, dear cat. Nothing? Happy
keep going.
birthday to you.
Okay, I remember.
Okay, great. So it was written by a school teacher, Mildred Hill, to be sung to students, but it did not originate, or it was not originally a birthday song. It was Good Morning to All. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, dear children. Good morning to all.
That's cute. I'm going to start doing that to my kids and they're going to hate it.
Yeah, they're going to be like super mad.
Yeah.
And it was just later set to these birthday lyrics as we know it now. The happy birthday song is actually under copyright for a long time, and
really?
it was not legal to be performed in public until 2015 because it was copywritten.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be until 2030, and also fun fact, the song brought in Jesus.
Brangin'.
Jesus Christ. It brought in about $2 million per year to its owners, Warner Chapel Music. So
That's good.
since it was copywritten, that's why you got some like off-brand birthday song at Raw Redmond.
Yeah.
They're like,
I was just going to say, is that why?
yeah, that was the first song that you heard.
Happy birthday of all us. Yeah.
Right. They didn't want to be creative.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to have to pay $1,500 to be able to sing it in public.
Every time you have to pay $1,500?
I don't know what it is every time, but
Because it seems like Red Robin could afford $1,500
every single time they sing it.
Not every time.
No.
If it were a one-time kind of deal.
Yeah,
Probably.
one and done. Totally.
Yeah.
In my notes, I just have legal mumbo jumbo. That's what I wrote. So just understand that there were some issues. And when this director, Jennifer Nelson, went to make a documentary about the birthday song, she was like, you know what? It's really messed up that I have to pay $1,500 to play this in my documentary. And the premise of how this was copywritten was messed up. So she took a class action suit and she won. And so that is what brought the end to the copyright of the birthday song.
Cool.
It was supposed to be for 15 years longer and end in 2030, but it was demolished in 2015.
Ask and you shall receive. Like,
Yes,
who would
ma'am.
think that you could just take down a birthday empire like that?
Exactly.
And win?
Bringing $2 million a year.
That's insane.
I know. And so
Yeah.
now you can sing it. It's public domain. You can sing it freely wherever you want, including on
God.
this podcast.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so glad you guys got to hear me sing happy birthday. I know that's what you came here for.
It's,
Right. Okay. Here we're getting into the fun stuff now. Okay.
wow.
So-
Now we are.
Statistically, you are likely to die on your birthday.
Really?
Yes, really, truly. One study done in Switzerland found that 13.8% more people over the age of 60, so take that with a grain of salt. So 13.8% more of people over the age of 60 die on their birthday than any other day in the year. which is statistically significant. But that's not the only research that has been done on this topic either. Some researchers looked at over 2 million Californians' death records between 1969 and 1990, and deaths peaked within the week before and after a person's birthday. So right around the same time they were born. Now, for men, it was the week before that their deaths peaked, and for women, it was the week after. So I feel like, and this is totally wrong and not accurate, but I was like, men are like, oh God, I don't want to deal with birthday stuff. Like, let me just peace out now. But women are like, I need the attention of my birthday.
Wow, sexist.
I know, really sexist and totally inaccurate, but
I'm surprised more men didn't die before their wife's birthday.
Maybe that's what it was.
Before that.
You're like, I had to buy a fucking bidet.
I'm not installing this bidet if it kills me.
He's butthurt about the bidet. Nice. Yeah, so there's that. Another study was also done in Switzerland looking at also over 2 million people's deaths, which is a huge population to look at. And they look at their death dates and their birth dates, and they found that those who died on their birthday was statistically 17% higher than expected. So way more people are dying on their birthday, including apparently Shakespeare. That's the thing. Some death dates are inaccurate. If it's not sure when somebody died, they'll either do it on the 1st of the month or the 15th on the month to kind of split the difference. But it's not enough to statistically accurately, like significantly skew data.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's also something called the anniversary reaction, which is basically just what we were talking about, where you have a higher chance of dying on your birth date. And there are a couple of reasons why. The first thing was that some people just party too hard for their birthday. Like there's a super high mortality rate for your 21st birthdays. People go crazy. But there's also this thing where it's a psychological effect where it's all in your head and it manifests. So they think that birthdays could possibly be seen as a goal to make it past for those with terminal illnesses. There's a peak in cancer deaths around Christmas, and there's also the Passover effect where death rates drop by 31% in Jewish populations before Passover and then go right back up afterwards. There's no similar trend to this seen in the Jewish community.
Didn't you just say in the Jewish community that happens?
It does happen, but it's not seen outside the Jewish community where they don't celebrate Passover. Yeah, thanks for clarifying. I'm sure other people were
Sorry,
like, wait,
maybe I blinked for a second, but it sounded like you said there's no similar trend in the Jewish community. And I was like, wait, hold on.
There's a thing and there's also not a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not quite. So there are 2 more things. So just stay with me while we finish up our birthday lesson.
Okay.
Eyes on the teacher.
Sorry. This beer is hitting me.
I feel. Okay. And there's also just like the stress in general about getting old. I don't feel like I'm one of those people, but I also don't feel like I'm at the age yet where I would be one of those people. I wonder what that's like.
No, I had a nightmare last night that I was turning 25 in a few months and not 24.
A nightmare?
Yeah. No, I was panicked because I couldn't remember if I was turning 24 or 25. It's like that SpongeBob episode. It's like, what's funnier than 24? 25. And that was my whole dream, but it wasn't funny. It was like, what's worse?
You're laughing so you don't cry.
Yeah.
What's worse than 24? But you were saying the other day, I remember you saying something like, oh my gosh, I'm like getting some wrinkles.
I am.
And then I looked at pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting some wrinkles.
Isn't that weird? Or like, I'll look at people like pictures of people that I went to high school with and haven't seen since, and I'm like, oh my god, they look fucking old. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh wait, I do too.
I know. It's as if time just stops for me, but keeps going for everyone else. And the last reason here for this anniversary effect is that we have this circadian rhythm that tells our body kind of when to be awake and when to be asleep on a daily basis. And scientists also think that it can tell us, on a yearly basis. And it could tell you when to die, when it's time to go. Here's a quote. We hypothesize that birth stress might be imprinted in a structure of the biological rhythms of the organism, thus resulting in periodic changes of vulnerability durability, and survivability during the course of IAC, which basically is like your yearly circadian rhythm. So the trauma of being, going through your mom's birth canal sticks with you for life and makes you vulnerable around your birthday.
I feel like I more believe the one that's like people want to make it to their birthday.
Yeah, I think it could be a combination, and none of this really has like proof to be like, this is it.
Just
but
hypotheses.
There is like the statistics that say
the statistics are true.
It's there.
Yeah.
I think it depends on your belief in connectedness. So
all right. On that note.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. But anyway, happy
birthday, Hayley.
Thank you all for joining me on this cheery birthday. I'm so glad that Hallmark didn't just invent birthdays. And on that note, I'm going to cite my sources and peace out to finish my birthday in peace. So we have Understanding the Birthday Paradox Better Explained, which I did not even get to try to explain it because I did not want to do that. And that's a website. BibleHub.com.
That's a website.
ResearchGate.net, Insider.com.
We got a .net in there.
Yeah, we did. You know
good
it.
stuff.
SimpleToRemember.com, Paperstyle.com. That's where I got the invite translation.
Simple to remember.
Yeah. And HuffPost. So thank you all for turning
Scholarly
in.
sources this week.
Scholarly, yes, because we are educators.
We are scholars.
And we know which sources to pick and which not.
We do. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this, first of all, thank you. Second of all, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends, tell your dog, tell your neighbor, tell your teacher, tell anyone who will listen to listen. And mention us on Instagram, tag us. We want to send you a free sticker if you do. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.